It's time, baby. As the tunnel curves, it eventually levels out to only a gentle slope forward. Ahead, the tunnel slowly widens before stopping at a cavern wall. This wall, like back in the mine, is split open by the purple worm's quake, bisecting the ancient rock formations and leading into another dark crevice, though this one is wide enough to traverse comfortably. It sharply curves to the right within the crack, and you can see that glow ominously pulsing from beyond.
Cautiously we go.
I think with a healthy level of caution and fear within everybody.
That sounds about right. Erwin's been very quiet. You pass through this crack in the wall, and then you turn. You enter a large, circular cavern. Your attention is drawn instantly to the source of light in this room, for the moment disregarding all other detail. Lying at the very center is a hideous, colorless, spongy mass made of some unidentifiable translucent substance. This spongy mass seems to be fused with the ceiling of the room 20 feet up, with sinuous strands of the material spiderwebbing outwards in all directions like the roots of some foul weed. This pillar of loathsome matter rises upwards from within an enormous crack, a crack that splits open a large, dark, and heavily pockmarked stone, as it glows like the beacon of a lighthouse, brighter than anything else in these caves. Glows with that foul, twisted light that you have grown all too maddeningly familiar with. Glows like the fungus, like the spiders, like the dead and the dying townsfolk you discovered above. That light, that chromatic aberration, dances across every surface of the room, across the sheer, rough walls, across the shallow, sloped floor that you now realize to be an ancient, forgotten crater, across the bodies laying scattered across the floor in front of you. Within the mass, you see vague, indistinct silhouettes, shapes that sit unmoving within. The mass does not move, but the light glowing within it does, dancing and pulsing and throbbing with vitality. You have found ground zero. The bodies on the floor, your immediate count guessed roughly 24, all laying in various positions of agony, their features bastardized beyond any hope of recognition. Gray, malformed, and disintegrating. Even as you enter and take this scene in, you are overwhelmed by the sight. Everybody make a wisdom saving throw. Wow. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. You see now what you couldn't before. Wisping, dancing strands of light curl and twist and dance about the mass, shapeless like smoke. It dances about the corpses like will-o'-the-wisps. You had all hoped to come here and confront some hideous evil, some abhorrent entity that you might strike down or destroy. One you might blast apart, might bury under thousands of tons of rock and stone, but you still do not understand what you see. The fear roots you to the spot, turns your legs to jelly, it robs you of breath. None of you can move. None of you except for Erwin. Despite the horror in front of you, you were able to notice a single body laying half inside the mass, its torso draped pathetically over the surface of the meteor, long tenebrous strands of hair draped down over its head, its likely horrific visage obscured from view. A glint of something reflective bounces across the surface of the meteor, away from the half-absorbed cadaver. It descends to the floor and rolls a short distance before settling motionless. Something made of metal. Erwin is the only one who seems to have not been paralyzed by the sight, though he definitely seems affected by it based on, well, your limited observation. At the moment, you're transfixed by what you see. Erwin takes 2 steps forward, seeming to not be aware that the rest of you have been afflicted this way, and he drops his lantern, which strikes the floor and breaks, the light going out. No. It can't be you. He seems to recognize the body at the center of this room. He makes an effort to start running towards the center. At this point, I'm going to give you guys a chance to try and save from this paralysis. Let's make another wisdom save.
Okay.
Did 17 fail? Let me look at my notes. Yes, it did. It did fail. Oh no. Garan, bless you. You are able to rip yourself free. What do? Do you try to stop Erwin?
I do. I'm gonna grab him by his collar.
You gonna say anything to him?
No, I'll spin him around so he's not looking there anymore. Maybe it'll snap him out of it.
You spin him around and he's like, "Let me go! That's my sister, motherfucker! Let me go!"
Not anymore.
As you say that, it's not your sister anymore. The light pulses within the foul mass. It then begins to flow through the body of Abigail Pierce, and shines out of the holes in her face like searchlights, shining across the walls of the room in a frenzy as her body writhes and twists itself free of its position. As Erwin goes quiet, watching in silent horror, you see more movement. First, the silhouettes within the spongy, awful column begin to writhe like maggots, before you see them break free with foul, otherworldly swiftness, revealing themselves as more mangled corpses. The bodies upon the cavern floor begin to stir, lurching to their feet, their bones and flesh cracking and creaking, their bodies now glowing as well. There are at least 100 shambling corpses approaching you all. The corpses of the ill-fated and hopeless people of Myrefall. They do not speak, and they do not stop their horrendous, agonizing march towards the party. Roll initiative.
Well, this doesn't seem quite sporting. There's only 100.
This is the entire townsfolk and the person all the people you were coming down here to find. They're all dead. All of them. Okay, let me look at initiative. Tedlington, you rolled
10.
Oh, 10. Okay. Hank rolled a 3. Garan rolled an 8. Thad rolled a 6. Now, Erwin. Oh, wow. That's not great, Erwin. I mean, then again, that is your dead sister, so fair. 5.
Better than Hank.
Now I just need to roll for them. Yeesh, okay. 17. The Horde of Farlight's townspeople is a group of undead. They all have the same statistics. Each of these individuals have their own space on the field and their own health pool. Each undead is affected by conditions separately, and they constitute a single target. The Horde itself cannot be targeted, but it's got its own health bar and rolls for its own turn. Every member of the Horde may move on its turn as long as the total space moved does not exceed its speed, which is 30 feet. The Horde is acting all at once, because otherwise I'm rolling for like fucking 100 monsters, and I'm not doing that.
Well, it's been good working with you guys.
Okay, first in the order is the Horde. One of the nearby members of this Horde shambles towards you, Garan. It shudders, and completely silently, its head tips forward, and its twisted, mangled face's mouth opens, and it unleashes a bright beam of light directly into your face. What is your AC?
14.
It misses. Quite spectacularly, actually. It just, because of the nature of like the desiccated body, it fires above your head, and the light does not shine directly into your face. The rest of the Horde continues to shamble towards you, slowly and inexorably. It is now Tedlington's turn. Tedlington, make a wisdom saving throw.
Well, it's 14. I'm contemplating using my inspiration die here.
Do it.
Well, yeah,
If
but
you
the
want, I mean,
odds-
smoke him if you got him.
I don't know what the number I need is, but I think it's high, so... Because I need to do it before I learn if it succeeded or not. You know what I mean?
Oh. Nah, I mean, it didn't succeed. Go ahead. I don't care. We're here to have a good time. It's not about, like, you gaming the system. If it didn't succeed...
If I get to know, then I'll roll again. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
There we go. Solid
That's
4.
significantly worse. Okay. All right, well, no. You, unfortunately, are still transfixed by what you see in front of you. You're not even looking at the townspeople. You're looking at the light. Garan, it's your turn. You don't need to make a wisdom save. You have several, I would say at least 3 townspeople. An older man with, like, damaged suspenders. He looks like he might be a farmer. A little girl. And a teenage boy. They're all coming towards you. Each of them more twisted than the last.
Well, I guess I will attack 2 of them.
Okay, let's make some rolls. 16. That hits. All right, what about the second one?
So for the offhand extra attack, is it a d20 plus proficiency or a d20 plus your stat?
The attack roll is the same as a regular attack roll.
You just don't add anything extra to the damage roll.
Yeah.
That hits
So
as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Both hit. All right, roll damage. 18. Dang. The other one was a 4. Okay. So you slice clean through the torso of this unfortunate farmer, and your sword, like, just glides right through it. And the man just crumbles to dust, even before your sword's completely all the way out of his body. The light within him wisping through the air and streaking back towards the center of the room. The second attack, which is what? With the
sheath.
The sheath? Okay.
The cane part of the cane sword.
Yeah. You hit the little girl in the face, and the top half of her head just, like, disintegrates from the impact, and yet the body continues to move. You gonna move?
I'm not going to move.
Okay. It is now Thad's turn. Thad, make a wisdom save for me.
At 20.
A nat 20?
Yep.
Done. You're not paralyzed anymore. Sorry, I should have made that clear.
Okay. Did the spheres look like the spheres of light we saw before?
No, they're solid. They're not like made of light. These are like the light is glowing from inside them, and this is also where some of the bodies are pulling themselves free from. Cysts is a gross but excellent way to describe them. Yeah. The basic implication is that the light, whatever happened that lured them down here, they literally crawled inside that.
So is there a big group of them there? Or what?
There's the horde is sort of just scattered about, heading towards in your general direction. There's still some townspeople inside, and they're pulling themselves out as the fight goes on.
Okay, how far away is that from me?
The meteor is 100 feet away from you, maybe 90 feet,
Okay.
because you're a little ways into the room.
Okay, so I'm not close enough. Okay, how close can I get before I start engaging the zombies?
The horde is like at least maybe 30 feet away, the start of the horde, so you can hit them for sure.
So I can get within 60 feet of the meteor then, before I'm engaged with the zombies?
We were at least 10 feet away from the wall. So maybe you'd be engaged with the horde, but it looks to me like you could run up to the edge of the horde and be within 60 feet. Because I think that's the goal, right?
That the goal is to be within 60 feet of the meteor.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that.
I will throw the bundle of 3 sticks of dynamite at the meteor, since that's evidently all I can do.
Oh god.
No.
That means it's a 15-foot wide explosion.
Yeah, it's a 15-foot wide explosion, correct. And
Okay.
every creature within 5 feet of that has to make a DC 12 Dex saving throw if it can.
Okay, and you are specifically, this is the goal to destroy the meteor, or?
The goal is to do as much damage to the meteor and to everything that has not exited the meteor.
Okay.
You're the DM, do what you do.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to put my foot down. Okay, let's just do it. We're gonna make a roll. Let's just make it a ranged attack throw.
If it's thrown, it's just a strength attack roll.
Just make a strength check. I picked the DC in my head. We're not attacking anything. This doesn't have AC, so.
Okay. That is an 18, 19.
19. Okay, yeah. You can toss it. All right. Question is, how long before it explodes? Because it's a fuse. I've never worked with dynamite like this. Yeah, I think unless you made a longer fuse, I think the implication is it's supposed to explode shortly after being thrown. I think that's the idea. It's supposed to explode immediately. 15 feet. Yeah, okay. Here's what happens. You manage to, slip through the horde. Fortunately, they're not moving fast enough to keep up with you. While they are converging on you as you pass through this group of people, they don't get a grip on you. With a powerful toss, you launch this lit bundle of dynamite through the air, end over end, and it lands quite snugly against the edge of the meteor before exploding. The fireball immolates everything within 15 feet, catching Abigail Pierce's reanimated corpse, along with at least 4 or 5 other villagers who are instantly vaporized. But once the explosion's smoke and fire has cleared, you see something unexpected. You have split the meteor's stone surface apart and destroyed it, but there's still stuff inside. It's black, and it's shiny, and it reflects the light in multitudes of colors. It's the same metal that you found in the forge, the opalescent iron. The cysts of light, as we're going to call them now, thank you, Garan. Some of them are sent flying with this blast, but they don't even stay solid for long. They basically disintegrate in midair, not because of the explosion. They don't seem to be made of anything. 1 or 2 land on the ground at your feet, Thad, and they splat almost like snot before they just sort of melt into the air. Not even like dust. It just seems to wither away into nothing. Despite this explosion and the significant damage to the meteor, all you have managed to do is kill some of the approaching horde and reveal the meteor's inner contents.
That's my action. He's satisfied that he split the meteor open. He was going for a long shot and trying to do as much as he could, and it did something, so that's good. Where I am now, does that put me within melee range of the zombies?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's not much else I can do.
Next to the order is Erwin. Erwin seems shaken, and fortunately, or unfortunately for him, something unexpected happens with that. The explosion sort of snapped him out of his freak out, and he turned and looked off in the distance and saw that his sister, or what remained of her, had been immolated by the blast, and the blast also launched something across the room that sort of like struck the ground, sort of smoking from the explosion but otherwise undamaged, sort of cartwheeling end over end across the ground and sort of stopping about 20 feet away from the rest of the group is a small locket made of the same metal as the meteor. Erwin looks at that, looks at the horde, he clenches his fist, and then he holds out his hand, and he casts Scorching Ray, and attempts to vaporize 3 of the people in town. That's 3 rolls, bro. Yep. Nope. Yes. Okay. One of them flings wide and streaks across the room and hits nobody. 2 of them strike an elderly woman in the chest. Another strikes what appears to be the remains of a tiefling man in the head. One of those people is instantly, like, their head goes clean off, and they continue to move. The other one, the Scorching Ray hits them in the chest, and just blasts a huge hole, leaving just an empty gap, and yet it still moves. Erwin sort of, like, takes a shuddering breath, and, Garan, you're closest to him. All you can hear him say is, "Sorry," underneath his breath. It is now Hank's turn. Hank, make a wisdom save.
Oh boy.
15 is no.
Okay.
Garan, you said you wanted to try and help him?
I wanted to use my inspiration for him to get another roll.
You can't use your point, but you can definitely, like, intervene and try and, like, snap him out of it like you did to go and help Erwin. Like, you grabbed him so he wouldn't run to the center of the room. What is going through Hank's mind right now?
Basically, he had readied his weapon, but he is halted there, standing, staring at this horde of people, and he can't bring himself to start swinging. He stares out, and there is this long, like, 100-yard stare in his eyes as a deep memory is pulled up from within him of the time he had failed his people and fled a battle, and he is sitting there shaking, and he cannot bring himself to move.
Ooh, okay. So it's not just this, I don't understand what this is. It's a combination of, like, the horror and then seeing all these people and realizing that you're far too late to do anything to help them.
Exactly.
Okay. The people continue to shamble forward. Thad, what is your armor class?
18.
18? Plus 4 to hit. One of these people, a dragonborn man, he's quite tall. You're surprised he's able to even stand on his legs considering how, like, frail they look. He raises both his arms and attempts to swipe you with their fingernails. That's a 5 plus 5, that's a 10. They rake their fingernails uselessly against your armor, but otherwise don't harm you. More of them close the distance on you, Thad, and sort of, like, seal the gap that you used to get this far, but they otherwise don't continue to attack you. The old woman that had her head half disintegrated lurches at Erwin and swipes at him. And Erwin, your armor class, I think, is like 13? Yes. That's a 15 plus 5. They rake their fingernails through his skin, like they do like a downward slash across his chest, and he takes 1d10 plus 2 slashing damage, which is fortunately not much. He takes 4 damage from that attack, dropping him down to 14 HP. Another one shambles forward and attempts to attack you, Garan. 13 plus 5, does that? Yeah, that hits. They swipe at you as well, raking their claws into your flesh. It's cold, and it burns, and it's surprisingly strong for something that looks so frail. And you take 8 slashing damage. It's not good. But it is now Tedlington's turn. Tedlington, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Happy to. Solid 5.
Oh my goodness, man.
It's okay. Last time I used inspiration, it was a 4. I'm getting better. I think he's just totally panicked because he's still paralyzed with the fear effect.
Oh, okay.
So I think
Very
he's
sorry.
totally blanked out.
Garan, it is your turn. You have one that came up and attacked you. We have one that attacked Erwin. There's also a third one that hasn't quite closed the distance. It was the one that fired the beam at the start of combat.
All right, I am going to attack 2 of them and try and get towards Hank as I go.
In fact, I think you can get to Hank without having... You can probably attack them and then retreat because they're in front of you, and Hank, I think, is behind. Yeah, he's right next to you, actually.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start shouting a prayer to Helm as I go. That's
Ooh.
probably the best thing I can do to kind of shift his attention.
Okay. Hank, it's not your turn yet, but make another wisdom save with advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, you do not need it. Oh my god, nat 20. All right. No, yeah, okay, yeah, you break free. And that's an 8 for attacking, and a 6.
I'm on it.
The 8 hits, the 6 does not. So, which one are you attacking? Which one? With the one that was attacking Erwin, attacking you? Or the one that fired the beam? I imagine the one that was directly on top of you.
The other one on top of me works.
Okay. You slice their head clean off, and this time the body falls to the ground and does not move again. The light disappears from its form and wisps back towards the center of the room. And in doing so, the body crumbles to dust. Your swipe with the sheath of your weapon misses the other incoming attacker. It is now Thad's turn. Thad, you've got one person directly on top of you, and then you've got a large group coming in around you.
Where am I in relation to the rest of my party?
60 feet.
Okay.
No, 40 feet.
40 feet?
Yeah,
okay.
That makes more sense.
How much of these are bearing down on the rest of my party?
Relative concentration's probably like a dozen, maybe 18 or 19.
Okay.
They're not all on top of them yet, but a lot.
So are they concentrating more around me, or...
There were less in front of you towards the meteor, but there are some coming out, but you're basically blocked off from going back the way you came.
Okay. And I'm still 60 feet away from the meteor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I can get closer to the meteor then?
Yes.
Okay, so would moving towards the meteor without disengaging provoke attacks of opportunity?
Yes.
Actually, that bag I had earlier,
Yes.
can I just chunk the bag, and how far can I chunk it? Like 30 feet maybe? 10 feet? 20 feet? Would I have to set it down? What can I do with it?
How much was in the bag? I don't know. I mean, you could throw it, yeah. I just don't know if you'd be able to do anything with it. Like, you could drop it on the ground and maybe...
I can always firebolt it, that's not the problem. I'm just asking, what can I do with this bag?
You could throw... I mean, it's a bag full of powder that's roughly the same weight as sand. I imagine you could throw it. Yeah, 30 feet seems reasonable. Actually, yeah, you can toss it or drop it on the ground. It's up to you what you want to do with it.
I am going to disengage and move 30 feet closer to the meteor so that I am within 30 feet of the meteor.
Okay. Is that all you can do because of the disengage, or...?
Yeah, that's all I can do because of this disengage.
Okay. So now Erwin's turn. Erwin seems very shaky, and he takes a few steps back away from the horde and clutches at his chest from the attack. And he's like, there's so many of them, I don't know what are we even doing? They're all dead. Why are we even trying?
They're not dead enough.
I'm glad I was muted for that. I just totally bust out laughing.
No, it's fine. Erwin actually, he turns to look at you, Garan, and he's like, I don't know what this is, but we can't leave them here like this. And he casts Magic Missile. Everyone's favorite. He casts it at the normal level, and he tries to target the 2 targets that he hit before, along with a 3rd, and that automatically hits, so that's 3 on 1 target. It strikes the woman in the chest, and she just collapses to the ground and disintegrates and stops moving. Another one is hit in the face for 1 damage. Half of its head caves inwards, showing nothing inside but that glowing light sort of ebbing and flowing within the cavity. And then the final one strikes at the one that was firing the beam at you and takes 3 damage. And their arm falls off, preventing them from attacking with both of them and reducing their overall damage output. Hank, you've snapped out of it! What is Hank thinking, and then what is he gonna do?
As his weapon, he stakes it to his side, and he stares out at the field of corpses in front of him. There is a feeling welling up within him that no one else can feel, but it's just a deep conviction that he holds. By the light of Helm and the grace of Gwendolyn, I will not falter this day. Not again! And I'm going to run to intervene and protect over where Erwin and Tedlington are, and I'm going to cast Mirror Image. 3 heavenly bodies appear like around me. It's like kind of like glowing light forms of Hank.
Ooh, awesome. I haven't had someone cast that spell before, so what does that do? How does that mechanically work? I'm curious.
Right, so Mirror image does, it creates 3 copies of you. And
Okay.
each time a creature targets me, I get to roll a d20 to determine if it hits one of the duplicates instead. So when I have 3, I have to beat a 6. If I have 2, I have to beat an 8. And if I have 1 left, I have to beat an 11. The duplicate's armor is equal to 10 plus my dexterity, so 12. It's not that great, but they will take the damage and be destroyed if they're hit.
It's literally just a doppelganger to protect you from
Yeah.
damage, to distract. Okay. Now I got it. Understood. Perfect. That's fantastic. That is really cool. Okay. So you charge in and step between Tedlington and Erwin and defend against the oncoming horde. It is now back at the top of the order with the Farlight townspeople. Several of the ones that are in front of this group actually do instantly go to attack you now that you have like stepped in. So roll that d20 for me.
Okay. And that will affect one of the copies. That attack is basically negated and that clone is gone. So now I have
No, the clone has AC as well.
Oh,
Oh, what's the clone's AC?
Its
You
AC
said
is 12. You're right.
12.
I completely forgot that part.
That
I
it
got
meets it beats. It did hit. One of them does hit. The other one rolled a 3. So what will determine if that one actually hit you. I hate this. I've been playing a lot of Binding of Isaac. I just keep visualizing like the Hank clones rotating around him like orbitals to protect you. And I don't think that's how that works. I think they're stationary until you direct them to move.
One clone.
Yeah, they hit one. Yeah, they hit one of them. They rolled a 12. But they didn't hit you, and that was the one that was missing an arm. That also fired the beam at the start of combat. It swipes at the clone, and I'm assuming any damage and it disappears, correct? That's what we said? Okay. That clone vanishes into, like, sparkling dust that sort of rises upwards and vanishes as it swipes with its only arm. It sort of almost falls over from the force of the swing, considering the fact it hit nothing. Another one goes for the light. It just goes straight up for the actual clones, not for Hank at all. And it rolled a 3, so it didn't even hit the light, which is impressive. Basically, this shambling half-orc woman raises up her arms to swipe at the light, and one of the arms falls off, and the other one swings wide and misses. The arm disintegrates into powder upon impact with the floor.
As I'm defending against these, basically, maybe I catch one of them with my sword and I turn to the group. Flee this place! Now!
Ooh, okay.
As he misses that Thad is somewhere way closer to the meteor.
Yeah, he is nowhere nearby, but Thad's not like Thad never announces what he's gonna do, he just does it.
No.
And he's also very quick. Thad, several of the horde try to follow after you and swipe at you. What, your AC is 18, correct?
Yes.
Wow. 18. That's a barely hit. Okay.
Yep.
They slash with one arm. The other one, during the course of the swing, just falls out of the socket and disintegrates. That's 1d8 plus 2. Let's see. You take 9 slashing damage from this attack. They swipe across your back as you're, like, getting away from the horde, and they dig into your carapace. It does not feel good. It feels, again, like a cold, searing sensation, and it makes you feel nauseous. And you feel strangely weak. Erwin shouts out, "We can't just leave," and he seems to be conflicted. "I can't leave without my locket. I can't leave without at least that." The locket is unfortunately 20 feet away, surrounded by undead. But it is now Tedlington's turn. Tedlington, 3rd time's the charm! That's a no!
Nailed it.
Would you
Yes.
allow Hank's actions to allow him to roll with advantage?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that could be an inspiring display. Yeah.
Telling us to run away isn't inspiring.
Well, him sacrificing his life so you can escape is inspiring. I mean, that's significantly better.
Big 1-3. So Tedlington's face becomes quite stern. So it goes from, I assume, some kind of wide-eyed, maybe even eyes squeezed shut is where he was before. But his face relaxes and then takes on a very stern and very serious visage. He looks to Erwin, and he looks to Hank, and he looks to, he sees Thad off he's taking stock of the situation. And then he will take the disengage action, and he charges in to the horde to get the locket.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Cut the holy shit out, please, Sean. I love that.
It was 20 feet from whoever, but I'm not sure if
It's 20 feet from the group, just in general. It's
That's
20
fine.
feet away. The blast launched it across the room.
he will do disengage. So he'll charge the 20 feet. He'll grab the locket, and then he's going to use the remaining 10 feet to charge towards the wall. Just get as far from the horde as he can.
I'm surprised that that's what he did.
Beautiful at the 11th hour. He takes the action that sounds like he's gonna run, but then uses it for something completely different.
Exactly. I think that's amazing. Oh man, I love that. Okay. So disengage prevents opportunity attacks, so you're able to dodge and weave through this horde and grab the locket off of the floor. It can fit in your palm. It's sort of oblong and ovular. It's got a little bit of a chain. It's made of the same exact metal that you saw before, a solid black with reflecting bits of light. And this world has photography, by the way. It's just like black and white. And there is actually a picture of Abigail there. She looks lovely. She looks a lot like Erwin. I mean, no surprise. But probably not on your mind right now. Just thought I'd describe it for the sake of people knowing what it looks like. You have it now. And you dart 10 feet back towards the rest of the group, so you make it about halfway.
I mean, to leave the from the locket, he's going to wherever the minimum number of zombies is.
All right, cool.
I would also mention you have Axe and Surge again if you want to use that.
I haven't drinking the potion yet.
You didn't drink the potion. That's right. He saved it because he didn't take any damage. Yeah.
Yep, been saving it. Oh,
Here's
well,
what-
you're right. Actually, you're totally right. We did the short rest. That's a short rest skill. You're totally, absolutely right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yep, I forgot that we did the short rest again. So I'm not currently surrounded by zombies, right? Or am I?
I mean, yes, you are, because you did
I am.
charge into the horde. That was the intent. Yes,
Okay.
but there's gaps in the horde, right? Because, you did this very quickly. They're not...
Okay. Then in that case, I'll just use my item action, bonus action, just to hoist my shield up. I doubt he would have his longbow out to go diving through a horde of zombies, but...
Or, yeah, you get disadvantage the closer you are, right? I think that's how ranged
but
works.
if anyone's within 5 feet of you, so I think he would know better than that. So if he's gonna charge through zombies, we'll say he's got the shield up to do so. I think he might save the action surge, so he'll call out. Actually, no, he's not gonna call out. He's gonna stay quiet.
I like this. This
That's
is
it.
really cool.
That's
I
his
love
turn.
this. Fantastic. Okay, so, Garan, it's your turn, but something is going to happen. Let's see here. You are all weary. Your wounds are grievous, and yet the poor, tragic members of the shambling horde come ever closer. As the battle rages and the futility of it all begins to weigh heavily upon your souls, the room begins to shake. Flecks of dust and pebbles of the cavern ceiling begin to fall from above. The shaking doesn't stop, growing more violent and tremendous. The light within that mass begins to shine brighter and brighter until it's nearly blinding. What is your reaction? What immediate reactions?
To squint.
Makes sense. Okay.
Thad's still in fight mode, so if you give him the opportunity, he's going to continue fighting. The fact that light is blinding doesn't affect that at all for him.
Go ahead.
Fighting
Sorry.
as long as he can make out targets.
Okay. So, you're still, lashing out at the horde, and so is everyone else, fighting off against it, noticing these events taking place, though. The room beginning to shake, flecks of dust falling from the ceiling, the light sort of growing ever steadily brighter. It almost feels like for a very brief moment, time stands still. And then, it flashes. The resounding sound of splintering rock fills the room, as you see many large cracks begin to spread outwardly from the ceiling surrounding the mass. The light shines outwardly across the walls like an insane kaleidoscope. It shines out of the eyes of every single member of the horde, and their bodies seize up. Their heads tilt backwards, each with a sickening crack, and they begin to convulse as the quake only worsens. As the room continues to seem to split apart at the seams, the bodies of the townsfolk begin to dissolve into dust, and the light flows away from their bodies like a horrible oozing liquid, and towards the center, converging. The place is collapsing! We have to get out of here, we don't have any time!
And I think before he can finish that, I'm going to turn and pick him up and run.
Well, okay, wait! Oh, okay. Alright, what is everyone doing? Thad? A huge boulder, about the size of a car, falls from the ceiling and slams into the ground directly next to you.
Thad is going to... Actually, you know what? He's going to save the bag of gunpowder. Forget that.
Okay, so he just grabs the gunpowder and runs. Alright,
Yeah, he grabs the gunpowder and runs. He has a different idea for it.
okay. Tedlington, Garan, and Hank.
Tedlington will go to run, and as he goes by Erwin, he's going to jam the pendant into his hands.
Okay, Erwin grabs it. He's got it now. So I'm assuming Hank and Garan, your responses are probably, yeah, let's go. As the room shakes more bits of the rock fall, and that light only gets brighter and brighter to the point where even like looking out of the corner of your eyes is painful to do. Your flight out of the room is peppered with large bits of debris, falling from above and crashing to the floor in a deafening cacophony. However, we are not done yet. Out of character time. This is a skill challenge, boys!
Hooray!
I'm doing this slightly differently, I think, than what is intended. Y'all know how skill challenges work, right? You encounter an obstacle and you use a skill you're proficient in to potentially bypass the obstacle in a way that makes sense.
Right.
If you succeed, then you progress to the next area. If you fail, you can take damage and someone else can pick up the slack for you, and it counts as a failure. I didn't really use these much because they're from the previous iterations, but I found that I really love it. It works really well for like escape sequences and chases. Yeah, 6 successes, 3 failures. If you fail completely, there is a chance that not everyone will escape alive. Erwin has his own check separate from the party, so his failures will not count against you, by the way. I'm not here to, like, sabotage you with an extra dude. Dibs on insight. Okay. Alright, is everyone ready to go?
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, I didn't. Damn. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Alright. As you flee from the collapsing cavern room, it becomes quickly apparent that the shaking is not stopping. An enormous chunk of stone falls behind you, sealing the crater, and a loud, violent sound indicates that the room has been buried. And yet, that horrible light still sears through the gaps in the rock. The caves around you are coming down upon your heads, and you fear you have only minutes to escape before you are buried alive. Cavern walls split asunder as you flee. The air is rife with the rumbling of the earth and the grinding of stone against stone. Your dash brings you back within the twisting halls of the mushroom caverns, and as you run, you see the color leave the afflicted fungus behind, the vibrations of the place's collapse turning the brittle creatures to powder as you pass. The paths are rough, formerly accessible tunnels are collapsed, and even as you try to recall the way back, the floor begins to shift and buckle beneath your feet, with bright beams of that Farlight shining from the gaps in the floor. What do you do?
Well, first we need to go left-south
As you do.
and follow the chalk.
Okay, so that would be insight? Yeah, I mean, you put the chalk down already. I would say that one's a fairly easy one. Let's see, let's me double check to make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, with the chalk marks, they're not as clear to see, especially because the whole place is coming apart at the seams. But without the crazy light coming from all the mushrooms, like the beams from below are pretty bright, but it's much easier to see like the color of the wall and where you've placed the marks. And Garan, you are able to signal to the group and basically lead the charge through this twisting, collapsing, cavernous maze and out of the fungal caverns as the place falls to pieces behind you. That's one success already. The dull, foul stench of the purple worm's corpse reaches you before you see it, but your good fortune and quick thinking have led you back along your path in the right direction. As you pass back within its body to retrace your steps, the shaking grows more intense. The floor beneath you begins to crack and split, and as you stand, the body collapses around you, sinking into a large chasm, leaving only the splintering walls and a few unstable pillars of rock ahead leading to more stable ground. The chasm below is filled with the Farlight, making the depths below impossible to discern as it gets ever brighter. Many dozens of wisps of that light rise upwards from below, around you, and through cracks and splits in the ceiling. What do you do?
Is there a solid wall or surface for me to get along?
There are walls on the left and right. It's basically where the worm was, but the worm's body powderized and the floor collapsed from below. So there's just like narrow, very difficult to jump on platforms teetering above the pit.
Okay, but there is a wall on the side
There
to
are
go.
walls, yes.
right?
They are buckling and splitting apart, but there are walls, yes.
Okay, so how far to like the far side where?
Across this pit?
Yeah.
25 feet.
Okay. I'm just going to pull some of my silk rope and I'm just going to run along the wall. Since I have a solid wall to run along now, run along the wall and like leave one end of the silk over with them for them to anchor and get to the other side and anchor the other end of that silk rope so they can get across that way.
What skill is that? What are we rolling?
Yeah.
Are you proficient in acrobatics?
I'm not proficient in acrobatics. I am proficient in deception, perception, sleight of hand, and stealth.
Sleight of hand. I can give that to you because we were talking about using that earlier to navigate through the worm so you didn't fall, and the walls are falling apart around you, so I feel like sleight of hand makes perfect sense.
Yeah, actually, instead of one rope, I want to do two, like parallel.
Okay.
2 parallel ropes. So I'll give them 2 strands of it. So that'd be 40 feet of my silk.
Yeah. So.
So that's my sleight of hand is
Correct.
my sleight of hand is 4. So that's a 16.
As you pass across the wall, like bits of it like crumble away and fall, and you are able to make it across this gap. And using that string, the others are able to follow you. Everyone, one after another, are able to navigate across, using the strings as support, are able to hop from one of these narrow pillars to another, with Erwin, unfortunately, in the back. However, Erwin also managed to make it, but as he jumps from one to another, you guys watch, probably with bated breath, as each one collapses behind him, falling into that blinding abyss and disappearing within that bright light. You have made it across this obstacle, and your flight continues ever upwards out of the bowels of the earth. The enormous spider den is in chaos. More half-decayed spider corpses than you left behind litter the place as your flight takes you back through this room. The huge and beautiful cave columns are splitting apart. Huge stalactites careen down through the air and smash into the ground, tearing open deep pits from within that light screams terribly. As you run, something unexpected, or perhaps all too expected, occurs. A spider crawls out of one of those holes and accosts all of you, huge and terrible as before, though you notice that the light has already left its body and it seems almost like on its last legs. What do?
Arrow, action surge, arrow. Sharpshooter.
Keep in mind these are skill checks, and then you can still attack, it's just you have to use a skill.
My goal is to run straight up to it. Acrobatics to get real close, maybe even do one of those cool Legolas slides under it, and try and take it out in one shot so that everyone can keep going.
Make that roll, homie.
Hey, look!
Tedlington, the Dice Maiden, finally decides that today is the day you succeed. Okay. Yes, you do a cool power slide underneath this spider, and in doing so, maybe even fire the arrows into its exposed underbelly while you slide.
Yeah.
In doing so, the arrows go right through its body, and the thing hisses and shrieks and slumps to the ground right as you get out from underneath it, and what basically happens is that the ground underneath it collapses, taking this corpse down into the depths, disappearing into the blinding light below. The spider is dead. The others are able to clear the gap and continue through this enormous room as it falls apart around you. As all of you run, one of the columns ahead collapses completely and smashes down in front of the cavern tunnel leading back to the mines, blocking your only exit. The cavern floor ripples and shakes violently like ocean waves. What do?
Boy. So how many of us have athletics?
Good question. I don't know.
1. And it's not
Yes.
me.
Not me.
Okay, it's me.
Yep.
I was asking just to see if anyone had a higher score because I have a plus. Is that a +3? But I
Okay.
will try and lift it out of the way for the group.
So you're gonna attempt to strongman this thing out of the way using adrenaline and like the power of faith. Okay. You're gonna use the power of God. Ooh. Oh, absolutely.
And then, yep.
Hank, due to your good fortune, the chunk that fell down wasn't exactly particularly solid. Maybe it was more hollow inside, but it doesn't weigh nearly as much as one would expect for such a huge piece of rock. You're not able to lift it completely off the ground, but you are able to, like, get it lifted enough to sort of, like, toss it aside where it rolls awkwardly a foot to the left before, the cavern floor collapses underneath it and it falls into that dark abyss. As it does, a huge stalactite falls from the ceiling and slams into the ground between all of you and splits open the ground, leaving a huge gap between Hank at the exit and the rest of the party. Erwin holds out his hand, and he looks around at the group and puts his hands on Tedlington's shoulder and Garan's shoulder and casts, I think, Longstrider. I think that could help you get That's like supposed to increase your movement speed, but that could also help with like a running leap, right?
Yeah, it adds 10 feet of movement, but if you want to really, totally give them like a longer jump.
Well, there is a jump spell.
He doesn't have it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He doesn't have it in his book, otherwise he would use it, yeah. So, with that cast, you guys are able to make a running leap across this gap, even as the light and these many little wisps continue to shine upwards. At this point, the light looks more like seeping blood from a wound, rising up into the sky, dripping out of the hole below. Every gap. Okay, yes, you have succeeded. That's 5, right? I think that's 5. That's 5 so far.
Yep.
No failures either. Okay. The split in the mine wall is wider now, practically an entirely new tunnel as you emerge from those forgotten caves. The shaking here is no different. It feels like the very mountains might come down upon you. You hear the sound of splintering, creaking wood as you continue to flee down the mineshaft tunnels. The aging support beams are collapsing under the strain of the quake. And as you pass back by, the storage room that you found the gunpowder in, and the dynamite, and the corpse of Breaker Legrasse, you see that shining light filling that tunnel before a loud, thunderous bang indicates that all of the explosives in that room have gone off, and there is now a very deadly fireball rippling through the tunnel towards all of you at the intersection.
Well, I have more arrows.
I want to use perception to find a little bolt hole for us to jump into to avoid the blast.
Like in a video game, like a little crawl space to hide from like a big laser beam or something.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I like that. Oh, not quite. How do we do this? Basically, yeah, I mean, obviously this would get everybody. I think this is all happening very fast, right? So, this failure basically is you cannot find one. And it's like in that brief amount of time that you have to look, you find nothing. And so, this explosion is happening like that. Okay.
So, if it was possible, I was also planning on using perception, but I was going to look for something like an overturned minecart or something, and I was going to make a backblast.
Oh, so you're going to use
what I
the
mean.
gunpowder to like, sort of like to counteract the incoming explosion somehow, or like lessen it?
To lessen it.
I've never heard of that. That sounds super wild. I mean,
We did leave that trail of gunpowder to the room. That's probably what set it off.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you if that happened or not. It's kind of a mystery. Okay.
I could offer a suggestion. Could I
Go ahead.
make a religion check to cause some kind of divine intervention for us?
Please do that.
Very crazy right now.
Please do that. Yes.
Boy, it is not the highest, but it's what I can do right now.
Come on. Come on, please. Dice Maiden, don't fuck me on this, and I'm the DM saying that.
Do I still have that guidance to use?
Yeah, you still have the guy.
Yeah, you didn't use it on the other thing because you didn't need it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't need it.
Yes. Okay. So
I
here's what
would
happens.
I would call out to that angel I named earlier, which was Guinevere.
Okay. Any details about Guinevere?
She's basically like an angel of like protection.
Okay. Does she share the same symbol as Helm or associated with Helm in any way?
Yeah. Basically, she's like an angel of Helm. I
Okay.
my background, so that's all right.
Here's what happens. You all are sure that you are not going to be able to get out of this tunnel before you are immolated by a horrible explosion. What a terrible and anticlimactic way to die after everything that has happened. But just when it seems all hope is lost, suddenly, descending through the ceiling is a radiant gauntlet made of holy light that slams into the floor and opens its palm and blocks the incoming flames, allowing you to pass by unharmed. It doesn't stay there forever. You still hear the roar of the fire, but it gave you just enough time to slip by without dying.
As I'm
Okay.
yelling, I'm going to the group like, go, go, go.
You barely clear the entrance to Myrefall's mine into the darkness of the night, the tunnel collapsing behind you. The air is bitter cold, and the ground still shakes. As you pass swiftly back down the path towards the dead town, you are relieved to know that you narrowly escaped a most terrible fate. Myrefall itself is shining horribly like a nightmare. As you flee, the ground beneath your feet ripples like water, and that color beams through every crack and fissure. The trees are shaking and swaying as if caught in a horrible storm, yet the air is still. The tips of every branch glow, and they reach unnaturally upwards like many loathsome, gnarled hands. A hole in the clouds above the town reveals a deep, dark void, filled to the brim with dark stars and mad constellations, the likes of which you'd never seen before or since. A hideous, alien sky. You all bolt haphazardly up the hill, beyond the town's borders, shaken and out of breath. And yet, you turn back one last time to witness the end of this nameless horror. A massive column of that awful light pours forth from the splintered earth, like blood from a wound. Upwards it flows in a swirling, maddening vortex of color, upwards into that awful sky. Back in Maliborough, Enoch, the stoic captain of the guard, is shaken to his core as his gaze falls upon the mad light show from atop the city walls. He watches aghast at the writhing, squirming river of light rising into the dark sky as his own men flee their posts. Robert Gardner shrieks and gibbers madly, thrashing in his bed, and his attendants can do nothing except watch in silent horror as he withers away, leaving behind nothing but cold dust upon his bed. Baron Armitage sits slumped in his observatory chair, his telescope a mess of melted copper and brass and shattered lenses. A look of distant, wide-eyed horror plastered upon his face. He will live, but he will never stargaze again. After what felt like eons of watching, the night goes dark once more, leaving a burning afterimage of that swirling, writhing vortex that you struggle to forget, even decades after. Thank you for playing.
Holy shit.
Thanks for running.
What does each of your characters do after this? You obviously return to Maliborough, and I'm sure, regardless of how much you care at this point, you probably still go to the Baron to retrieve the reward. And the Baron gives it to you without question. He doesn't even ask you what happened. He just seems tired and different. Sort of shaken. He gives you the money without question. Where does your lives take you after this? How did this event affect each of your characters? And I'll go down the list. So I guess we'll start with Hank, since you're at the top. Where did Hank go after this? What did he do?
This event would have given Hank the conviction he needed to continue on his path. From before, he was always doubting himself, that he could never once again become that paladin he was way back when. But now that all of this has happened, he knows this is what he must continue doing. He must continue protecting those who cannot protect themselves. And I think he goes to actually become a paladin again.
Hell yeah. Garan, you came to Maliborough and to Myrefall as a favor for a friend to find out word about their son, Giles. Unfortunately, it turns out that Giles suffered a very unpleasant end. What do you do now that you have found that information, and just after everything that has occurred here? Where does life take you?
I'll be returning home to inform my friend Fenry of his son's fate, and it's a long journey, so I'll be spending that time documenting our encounter and making notes about the things we saw that I had never seen or heard of before.
Would you say that maybe he's probably traveled places and seen if others have encountered this? Like, after doing his, due diligence of informing the family, did you think he maybe, went about to see if there's been similar events elsewhere?
Yes. He'd probably go to the library where he trained when he was younger and talk with the people there, and also spread his news.
Okay. However many more years you go about doing this, there has never been a single moment where anybody had any idea what you were talking about. Not in the sense that they thought you were crazy, but that this event, whatever it was unfamiliar and unknown to them. Never did you hear anything like it happen again. Thad, where does life take you after this?
Well, Thad definitely takes the money.
Of course.
And Thad definitely decides that he doesn't want to move his family anywhere near this part of the world.
Fair, fair.
He continues his looking for other places. And whenever asked about, although his family probably notices that he's a little different, no more somber now, he never wants to talk about it. Once his sister finally gets him to open up about it and he tells her the horrors of what he saw, she's basically like, yeah, let's not tell the siblings.
Yeah, sounds like a bad idea.
But the money, the reward, definitely makes that a lot easier.
Yeah. Tedlington.
Tedlington does not take the money, because he said he wouldn't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Actually, he would be very frustrated, actually, with the Baron. He would actually say that they failed, in his mind. And they failed from the start. There was no succeeding here. So he will head back to his family, his tribe. And I can't decide yet. I guess it'll depend on how we want to do that story from him or not. Basically, well, he'll take in his family and his orc tribe and determine that from now on they need him more, and that there's one town of people that he can protect.
Okay. I like that. Garan, I think part of what motivated you to continue searching for information about this so long after it happened is because in those final moments, I think a lot of the group, like Erwin definitely was just inconsolable. Now that the adrenaline had gone down, Erwin basically collapsed on the ground in the dark and started to cry, and he just fell to pieces. But Garan, when the world went dark for that final time, when the sky returned to sanity, you looked down at Myrefall one more time. You saw a single mote of light. It trailed behind the main escaping torrent, and seemed to fail to keep up, and like an injured bird that could no longer fly, plummeted back to the dead town, vanishing into a split in the earth. You know that whatever you saw that day, that Farlight, that some remnant of it still remains. Myrefall never repopulated. Decades after, it remains a blasted heath, barren and unable to sustain any life. Travelers avoid it, and even stalwart adventurers, having heard the rumors and stories, head to the place to prove their mettle, only to return to Maliborough in silence, their stares distant and unfocused, before fleeing the region and never returning. Erwin was almost inconsolable with grief, but determined, made a choice, and decided that he was not going to let something like this ever happen to anyone else again. In memory of his sister, he decided to continue with their plans to adventure and travel the world, and he would document any strange activity, any unusual events like this at all, in an effort to get to the bottom of them and stop them before people die. You never saw Erwin again.
This was no fruit of such worlds and suns as shine on the telescopes and photographic plates of our observatories. This was no breath from the skies whose motions and dimensions our astronomers measure or deem too vast to measure. It was just a color out of space. A frightful messenger from unformed realms of infinity beyond all nature as we know it. From realms whose mere existence stuns the brain and numbs us with the black, extra-cosmic gulfs it throws open before our frenzied eyes.